My name is Lisa Holzberger, and I'm the GIS coordinator for the City of Myrtle Beach. And it's a position that I've held for about 13 years, and I have about 20 years of GIS experience. We've spent the last year developing our own mobile apps for our municipality, so these sessions are of particular importance to me. We have an exciting lineup for you this afternoon, so let's go ahead and get started. Our first presenter is Colleen Kiley. She's the GIS analyst with the North Carolina Emergency Management Risk Management Division. Colleen will be speaking to us about a damage assessment app. She has a degree in geology followed by a master's degree in coastal zone management. The majority of her GIS work has centered around water resources. She currently earns a living in the risk management section of the North Carolina Emergency Management Division, where she fights with rasters, databases, and unruly web maps. In Colleen's words, sometimes I win. In her free time, Colleen keeps the family on schedule, makes grocery lists, and beats on or throws flames at metal to make jewelry. I want to hear more about that later. Let's welcome Colleen.
Thanks. Bear with me a second while I get this set up here. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the mobile damage assessment tool that we developed for post-disaster damage assessment. About 2 years ago, some of the other groups in emergency management came to my section, which is risk management. And normally, day-to-day tasks were in charge of doing floodplain mapping and assessing risk from natural disasters. But we also, during emergencies, help out all the other groups in emergency management. So they came to us, and what they had was the individual assistance group goes out after a disaster, and they're tasked with doing field visits and gathering damage assessment information and for public assistance, business assistance, individual people. And the goal is that they want to be able to get a good handle on the level of damage monetarily so that they can pass that information on and get federal funds as quickly to the people who need it as possible. So what they were doing was they had a Fema Form, and this is what it looks like. And so they wanted to know if there was some way that we could do this easier. And obviously with a form like this, they're writing in the addresses. They were taking pictures, but they were keeping those on a disk on the side. They would have to come back into the office and then do roll-ups for their managers. And so we were hoping to kind of come up with a system that would be as fast as that the paper entry system. We wanted it to be multi-platform, so we wanted people to be able to use an iPad or their phone or even a computer. It definitely needed to be easy to learn because in a disaster, you may have people being called up to do these damage assessments who aren't normally doing that and who are learning how to do it. It needed to not rely on cell phone service because, as you can see from this picture, your whole area may be flooded. You may not have any cell phones or electricity or anything. We were hoping that it would be able to capture locations and capture pictures tied to those locations. And we wanted it to be as real time as possible so that management back at headquarters could see what was going on out in the field from the office. So we had a few options. We looked at Arcgis Online. We looked at Arcgis Collector. We looked at Survey 123. We kind of open source evaluated those things. But what we ended up coming down to was going with a combination of Arcgis Server, Arcgis Online, and Collector. And the main reason for that is that we were doing editing. And if we host our service and our data on our servers, which we already had, we wouldn't have to pay for any Arcgis Online credits. We could use the web map through Arcgis Online, and that would handle who could log in and see everything. and collector because it was easily available to anybody with a phone or a mobile device, and we didn't have to do any development. So here's kind of what the system design looks like. We've got a database. We host out web services within emergency management. Arcgis Online is where we actually made the map that people see, and where we also serve out maps for people in headquarters to look at. And we have Collector for Arcgis out there for people to use as the collection device. So the workflow that people go through, we chose Arcgis Online and Collector because it has disconnected editing, and that serves the purpose of if you don't have cell service. So the workflow is, do you have cell service? If so, you can just go out in the field with your device and you're collecting in real time, and people back in the office can see that. If you don't, people need to actually download maps locally, go out in the field, collect it, come back using Wi-Fi or whatever, load it back up onto the system, and then people back in the office are seeing it on the main map. And then we have automated scripts running in the background a couple times a day so that if people don't know what the address is of where they're collecting the location, they don't have to put that in. We're actually using the statewide parcels from North Carolina, and we're gathering addressing and owner information. So sometimes people aren't home, the addresses are washed out, so you don't exactly know where you are. If they don't have it, they can just take their point, the other information that they have, and then our script does that stuff on the back end. So let's go ahead and go through a demo of what it looks like. One of the benefits and the reasons why we chose Collector over Survey 123 was that Collector allowed us to copy attributes from point to point, and that served the purpose of making this as fast as the paper form. So in order to do the copying of those attributes, people need to use continuous collection, which you set up in the settings of Collector. And you change it from the single down to a continuous collection style. And then they'll go in and they will open up our map. And it will automatically jump to wherever they are if they've got cell service. And we're going to just go through a couple of collection points here. So they're going to go through, a lot of this stuff is set up in our database in the back end, so all these things that you're seeing pop up are already in domain, so they just click through everything to fill it all in. So if they don't know the name, like I said, of the owner or the street address or something like that, they can just skip over all that stuff. There's a few things in here, like the water depth, where they actually have to go in and enter it in. It's not in a domain. They can put in remarks. And then one of the other things that made this a tool that was better than some of the other ones that we evaluated was being able to take a picture of your son's artwork and put it into the database. So that actually is connected to the point. The people back in the office can now automatically see a picture of damage out in the field. So then once they're done, they hit their submit button and it goes immediately into our database. Then they go and they get this next screen here that collects another feature like the last one, and that's going to copy over all of the attributes. So this is a really nice way for them to, if they're on the same street and pretty much the damage is the same for every single home, as they're going through, they may just need to change the address or maybe not even put in an address if they just want us to do it on the back end. And then, they just have to change the things that are different. Like here, we're going to completely destroy the Raleigh Convention Center and make that one totally destroyed and give it a new owner name because we've moved to a new point. So it's fairly quick and easy. We had very good success with this using after Matthew. I'm not sure if Pitt County is in the room, but we were able to give them, yes, great. They went like gangbusters on this stuff. I essentially gave them a PDF document that said, here's how to use it. And they downloaded the stuff on their phone. And you'll see in a minute here all the information that they collected. And it was like really quick in just a few days. So hopefully they found it useful, because we certainly did. We were able to get all that information back at the headquarters and get that, get the damage information out and get dollars flowing as quickly as we could. So here is what it looks like back on the back side. So using Arcgis Online, we've got maps here, and the people back in headquarters are connected to this, and they're also connecting to our back-end SQL database so that they can get roll-ups and paper reports, essentially. So they can come in here and take a look at any of the buildings, or that's a great one. But, they're out there showing exactly where the water line is. So some of the things that we learned on this was that the disconnected editing really depended on the people having Wi-Fi on the front end. They really needed to. Am I running out of time? Okay. So I will skip through the challenges then.